All right. Proto Man.
First, I want to say, Evan, nice Symbiote Studio shirt there. Good to see you. Good to see you rocking the
Who doesn't like Meowtimus Prime?
catnip convoy. That's what it is.
I have a white cat who is currently at my feet right now, so it's like the fact that this shirt is Optimus Prime holding a white cat is just
beautiful.
Yeah. Actually, Barrett, do you want to make your on-screen debut? Here, come on up, dude. He's actually turning 17 tomorrow. So yeah.
He's an old guy. That's great.
He is an old guy. Got him in college, so it's one of those situations. Here, you can sit right over there.
So a bit of an inside baseball question. You guys were talking about tooling just for a second ago. So how many heads really at this point are pre-planned in advance with the first tooling of a design? Like we'll go to let's say something like Blaster, where you had I'm going to assume that smirk face was on the original tool from the get-go, because we had, I think, one time that head leaked out. Someone in the factory in Vietnam accidentally painted it. Same thing happened with the Megatron with Kingdom. But how many heads are usually on that tooling, the initial tooling, before you go into do?
I mean,
Evan's got something there.
Yeah, it's just well, no, it's usually one extra. Like sometimes we can get more, but more often than not, depending on size and scale and room, depending on how many accessories we can put in, it's usually one extra head that we are planning to be another character down the line. Part of that has to do with us being as tooling conscious as we can be, because that's a big point right now, is trying to make sure that we can get as many characters as we can out of molds, but at the same time, Mark and I are humongous fans of this, so we're trying to make sure that those heads align to the correct things that they were back then. But it is usually one extra head. There are rare cases where there are more, sometimes there are less, but usually it's one extra head.
And what's pretty wild about that is sometimes it's just not even a head. Sometimes you get in a weapon and a head. Sometimes if you want the two heads, which is a rare occurrence, but sometimes you do. Maybe there's a faceplate involved.
So the core class Nemesis Prime you guys showed recently, I'm going to assume that Energon blade was already on the tool.
Indeed, that Energon Axe was there for the first Optimus retool. So when we kick off a project, yes, we have you kind of have to look into the future. You have to have the crystal ball and kind of just be totally. I want to do all of these characters out of this mold, but maybe things will align. Maybe sometimes things won't align. I'll tell you this, we've gotten a lot better at aligning a lot of the stuff, because back in the day when I was in the model shop doing all the prototype painting, and I used to get all the extra heads from Takara, a lot of the extra heads just never seen the light of day, and it was
that last time.
Yeah, it was, and it's a shame. It always, because it stays with me, because it's a shame, because you see how cool the heads are, and you're like, oh man, these characters could have came out but whatever fits in the line. We try.
We're uncovering heads that previous designers had hid in the molds that maybe our team is not as aware of. That was a direct result of Galaxy Shuttle. Was Mark poking around one day and he's just like, oh, look what we can do. And then Galaxy Shuttle happened, right? It was great. And it gets to build out for everybody that was getting their victory saber, and it was just continuing that JG1 universe. So yeah, lots of fun there.